The viewer of this podcast is typically profiled as a Jewish man who is more or less unaffiliated with his Judaism. What would you say to that man in terms of what he might want to change with?
So we're sitting in this room and you have a library. It's somewhat of a modest library. We, the Jewish people, have the greatest repository of wisdom that is in the entire world. We've been gifted knowledge that goes beyond, if you would take the fulcrum of all human endeavor and understanding, we, the Jewish people, contain the greatest amount of wisdom in the world. What I would encourage, I would beg and plead every Jewish person is find out, what is this about? The amount of knowledge that we as the Catholic Israel, right, the totality of the Jewish people, what we suffer from is not lack of observance. What we suffer from is lack of education. There's so little that people know about their history, about what Judaism has to say about every topic under the sun, whether it's about being a better husband, better businessman. We're going to share an idea, hopefully a little bit later on, which is a strategy, which is incredible, simple, effective strategy, comes from the Ben Ish Chai. We'll talk about the Ben Ish Chai. But what I would say to the unaffiliated individual, you are a son to a legacy and tradition, a treasure which you know nothing about, which a person knows nothing about. So I feel for myself, if somebody comes to me, comes to my office, and he's not observant, is unaffiliated, the conversation is not about observance. Conversation is about education. Yeah, you've never seen a piece of Talmud. You don't know. There's thousands and thousands and thousands of tractates of different ideas and concepts that we, the Jewish people, have been living with till this point. Come and taste. Come and feel the flavor of pure wisdom. That's what I would say.
Every aspect of your life, I like to use this example of in the 5 books of Moses, the damages are covered by an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. Nobody really knows what this means. So where do you find it? In 2 or 3 tractates of the Gemara on damages, which if you were to taste a little bit of this, you know, the hypothetical is you're walking with your family in a neighborhood and a dog breaks out of nowhere and bites one of your family members. Okay, after the family member is tended to and you're back at your home unemotional, how do you determine the responsibility that the owner of the dog has for attacking one of your children? Well, get a hold of a Torah scholar, sit down with the Gemara, open it up, and it'll break it down for you. Was the dog by breed an aggressive dog? Has he bit before? Were there witnesses? Did one of your kids tease him, provoke him? Was he in a fenced yard? Not. Was he at the owner's property? You know, it's a whole litany of questions to better qualify and audit the situation. The best thing for you to do is Google Talmud research, rabbi near me, make a couple calls, present the question, and find somebody who's qualified, can get you started. I was just thinking that if we're 13 million people and 10% of that number are observant, we come in different packages as a people.
Yeah. So I don't know, but basically something that happened in the mid-1800s is the shift. I think the place where we got lost as a people is in respect to education. You know, when Torah study was no longer primal, and then it was about, secular education or pursuing some sort of career that's bred an entire Jewish people that is absolutely ignorant about what the Torah has to say. And a lot of the ideas that are espoused as Judaism are laughable. It is so far from authentic Torah Judaism that I think it has nothing to do with if somebody is a banker or somebody is a dentist, and then he wants to know what the Torah has to say. But the Torah is not utilitarian. There's an assumption that you made that I disagree with you. And the assumption that you made is that there's a reality, which is my lived reality, and I'm going to utilize these texts to help me navigate my lived reality. But my perspective is in reverse. My lived reality is what the text has to say. My life is interpretation of that. It's quite the opposite.
So it's the horse before the cart.
Correct. So that's at least my view.
Yeah, I didn't say that right. It's nuanced, but yeah. I mean, I think in a functional sense, it's so hard to take a Jewish man who's 45 or 50 years old. He's been a dentist for 30 years, and now he's going to retrain himself to some degree with a new technology.
Well, what's happening every morning? Every morning, if you go to Lakewood, you went there. So you went to a place called Lutz, right? So how many people were in the room? 500 people at 6 o'clock in the morning? Who were they? Right? Some people were nursing home administrators. Some of them were doctors. Some of them were lawyers. Some of them worked in food service. It was a cornucopia of people, but they were all studying the Torah. It wasn't for utilitarian purpose. Right. It was simply to connect to the wellspring of this light, which we call the Torah. So I think that's a sort of a mindset change. A lot of times when people talk to unaffiliated individuals, so what do they say? They say, I have something for you that's going to make your life better. Or you're going to be, could be it's true, but that's not really the point. The point is that there's a reality of pure light of existence and the truth of human endeavor, and you need to be a part of that. What's the access point? Now, it could be anything. It could be a discussion about laws of tort, but we're not learning. That's not the point. The point is that is the mind of God. What we are learning is the mind of God. There's different applications to it. It runs the full human experience, whether it's laws between men and women, laws that have to do with agriculture, but at the heart of it is the mind of God, and that's really what we're seeking. That's my perspective on
right.